I just wanted to go to bed and then some news trickled in that I possibly have to cover now, because tomorrow you will have it all over the news about NIO being added to the SEC list and what it all means. Here we are on the official webpage of the US Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, and more specific on the page about the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act, which of course is the legislation as a basis that every company needs to be compliant with the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. So they need to be able to look into the books, basically, otherwise they will get delisted. And there is a provisional list of issues identified under the Holding Foreign Company Accountable Act, and you'll see lots of these Chinese companies on there. And of course, now also NIO has been added to that list, as many other names have been. In the past, for example, we had already Li Auto being added to that list. Famous big companies now, also like Bilibili, Pinduoduo, Baidu is on that list. And of course, now the company that we all care about, NIO, has also been added to that list. So why have these companies and also particularly NIO been added to that list today? Well, it is because those companies all have an auditor that has no oversight by the PCAOB, and therefore they are not compliant with this Holding Foreign Company Accountable Act. And this has the consequence that after 2 to 3 years that these companies are not getting compliant with this legislation, that they will be, in a result, be delisted from the US stock exchanges. In a sense, this is nothing new. They have been added to this list now because they have now been filing their annual report. So this is kind of a bureaucratic process here. So first they file the reports, then they can see, okay, we don't have an oversight of this auditor here. And so they're going to be added to that list. And so this is kind of the first strike of being incompliant. If there are more each of the years, then after when the deadline has been arrived, which is currently, I think, 2024 or 2025, then they will be delisted. So in essence, the current situation is that every Chinese company basically will be not in compliance and will actually be added to that SEC list. And meanwhile, we have the Chinese authorities working on a solution on that with their US counterparts. Of course, this seems to be more of a political issue, so we don't know what will be the exact outcome as of now. But yeah, China already announced that they are weighing to give the auditors full access and also have started to change legislation for it. We had the Chinese SEC equivalent coming out and basically stating that they will work on a solution in order to keep their companies listed in the US. However, at the current stage, of course, this is up to negotiations, and we will see if they can actually manage to close a deal. In the case of NIO, this is also, of course, why NIO has listed in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange as well. So this allows them, in a case of a delisting in the US, that they move the primary listing to Hong Kong. So in that case, shares can still be traded in Hong Kong. For other companies, for example, like Xunlei or Sap Health, they're currently not listed elsewhere currently. So in a case of a delisting, we don't know yet what will be the solution. Maybe those companies will be taken private, or otherwise they may find a way to list somewhere else. But of course, the ultimate solution would still be that there is some kind of a deal between the US and China, which allows the Chinese companies to stay listed in the US. So in a sense, not too much news other than this is a formal procedure that all of these companies are getting added to this list. As you can see, NIO is not the only company, but certainly is also not getting around this procedure. And so all of these companies are facing a delisting. Usually after this sort of news is out, usually we see a little bit of a stock reaction and the stock is selling off on such news, possibly because of the algorithmic trading, but then usually it's also recovering because the news itself is nothing new. Everyone knows that this threat exists, and it all depends on whether or not the US and China will find a deal, which possibly will happen till June or July. That was the announcement from the Chinese side so far. Let's see if this can resolve. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.